أهلا بكم مشاهدي آي تك عبر قناة الحرة في جرين آي تك. جرين آي تك هذا الأسبوع معكم من مدينة سان فرانسيسكو بولاية كاليفورنيا. نحن هنا لزيارة جرين سيتيزن. جرين سيتيزن هي مثال للشركات التي تجمع، توظب وتفرز النفايات الإلكترونية e-waste وترسلها إلى المكان المناسب لإعادة تصنيعها أو تدويرها. هذه العملية من الألف إلى الياء سنتعرف عليها اليوم في جرين آي تك. قبل ذلك نتواصل دائما عبر بريدنا الإلكتروني itech@alhurra.com. يمكن مشاهدة هذه الحلقة وحلقات أخرى من آي تك في أي وقت على موقع القناة www.alhurra.com وأيضا على موقع youtube.com/الحرة. للتواصل مع آي تك أيضا يمكن زيارة facebook.com/itechshow، وآخر أخبار آي تك تابعوها عبر آي تك شو على تويتر.
I was shocked to discover that computer-wise very convenient to use. It's really very difficult to recycle. When it's not recycled properly, it will causing harm. I had a benefit of be able to traveling off and on around the world, look at a different system in Europe, in Asia, and in US, and discover that this is a huge problem for everyone, not just one country. The biggest problem with electronic is that it made up a lot of different materials. For example, take a computer monitor. The most easy example is there's 48 pounds of lead. When lead is not processed properly, it can seep into the water source, contaminate the soil, contaminate the whole village, and also causing harm for the worker who handle that piece of equipment. Mercury, for example, which is in the LCD monitors that we have, the LCD flat screen TV we have, 1/80th of a tablespoon of mercury can contaminate 20 acres of water. So it is very important to handle this properly. When it's not done properly, it's causing harm to the environment. So the difference between good recycling and bad recycling is that how do you collect it and how do you process it? Do you process it in an environment which protect the worker and protect the environment? Or do you process in an environment where it's damaging to the worker and damage to the environment? That's the big difference between processing it in the manufacturing facility which we will visit today versus taking apart in the riverbed near the street corner in some developing country.
لدي بعض الأجهزة الإلكترونية الصغيرة التي يمكن تلفها أو إعادة تصنيعها أو تدويرها. لنرى كيف يتم التعامل معها هنا في هذا المركز لجرين سيتيزن. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I have few items here.
Sure. It's your first time at Green Citizen?
It's my first time. I don't know exactly what to do here.
Oh, great.
If you tell me, what can we do with these?
Sure. We
DVDs
do accept.
and CDs.
Sure. We take a variety of electronics for recycling, including CDs and DVDs. There's no charge to recycle CDs and DVDs. Some items we do have a nominal fee depending on what you have.
What about the keyboard?
The keyboard is $1 to recycle.
$1. And they have a remote control.
Sure, we can go ahead and accept that, no charge. An answering machine is $1 as well.
What about the cell phones?
The cell phones are free as well. The cell phones are part of a program where we can refurbish them and donate them to nonprofits like the Battered Women's Shelter or other organizations in need of emergency cell phones.
That's cool. And this?
The modems? Sure, yeah. So miscellaneous items like the modems, we just put on a scale, and they're 50 cents a pound.
And they still have headphones.
Sure, we can put that on the scale as well.
And different kind of batteries.
We
on
do
the scale as well?
Sure, on the scale as well.
Small and... What actually would you do with the batteries?
The batteries is, yes, it is actually recycled at a facility where it is smelted down to reclaim the zinc and the plastic casings into, it's processed again to make new batteries. So that is why it is actually a very long and expensive process, and that's why we charge the fee again to help us out with the cost.
And the ink cartridge?
The ink cartridge is the same thing. We try to reuse the ink cartridges as much as possible. If we can refill them or refurbish them or give them to organizations that can refill them, then we try to do that.
It's for free as well.
The ink cartridges are free. There's no charge.
Just the keyboard?
The keyboard, the answering machine, these are $1, and then most of these other items, there's no fee. And any miscellaneous, including the
These are
batteries.
miscellaneous. You call it
Right, miscellaneous
and
items.
this is we can see the scale on camera for all this.
It's about 4 pounds, so which means your total will be $2 to recycle.
Community service education is our daily goal. We do a lot of community outreach by receiving any kind of social group or school for visiting us so we can educate them about these issues. We also go out and visit companies and provide brown bag lunch, speaking engagement, as well as teaching graduate courses as a visiting lecturer. Our goal is try to spread the message in person as well as spread it over the web, over the internet.
So this area here is our sorting section. Once an item is brought in by the customer, we like to sort them as finely as possible. So these are a few examples of what we are sorting, including batteries and CDs and cell phones. So we're going to keep them separate. The thing with Green Citizen is we're trying to make this as easy as possible. We're not trying to combine everything all in one Gaylord. So we're trying to sort them as finely as possible.
You already put the CDs on its place.
Right. They're going to different recyclers. So to keep it all clean, we want to keep them all sorted in different bins in separate locations. So the batteries are going to go to another processor. So we're going to keep them separate location. So these are a few batteries. Going to keep here separate.
The
cell phone, again, will go to a different processor. And so we're going to keep this separate in a different location. The ink cartridges as well. We'll go ahead and put this in a separate bin here. And some of the miscellaneous items will go to the processor, the larger processor we have, which will pretty much encompass most of our electronics for recycling. So we'll keep that together in one bin. So go ahead and leave that there. This way it helps for processing, and once it leaves Green Citizen, it's already ready for processing and recycling at our partner recyclers.
We feel that not only the awareness of screening, our philosophy is that when you walk into the Green Citizen Center or you call to reach us, we want to make the party more aware of this e-waste crisis. And once they understand the issue, they tend to go and share with their friends. So we do feel the awareness is increasing.
The items brought in after the customer drops them off in the front, one of the most important aspects about Green Citizen is accountability. So everything brought in, we do track. For instance, this is our tracking system here. We're going to place one of our unique Green Citizen barcodes onto the items brought into the back warehouse. So we'll place the item tag here. We're going to track the manufacturer on this system, on this computer here, the manufacturer such as Apple, the Apple computer, the location where it's at right now, the manufacturer ID, serial ID, model number, and the year of manufacturing date. That way, once it leaves Green Citizen, we're able to track where it heads out to once it leaves one of our facilities. After we track an item, after it's all complete, we're going to sort them by item type. For instance, here we are placing televisions. So all the televisions and monitors will be placed together, and along with the cords will be cut separately and placed in one of these bins.
We have cords here.
You have some cords inside.
All kinds of cords.
Right. So the idea is each item is processed differently. There are different metals to be reclaimed, different plastics and whatnot, so we have to keep them as finely separated as possible.
This is what we call it the wall of shame. This is where the facts about electronic recycling. For example, over this table is the different toxic materials such as barium, cadmium, lead, lithium, mercury. Some of these components can cause damage to the human body, such as causing birth defect, brain damage. Take example of lead.
Yeah, lead.
Lead, for example, when it's go to the water source and sip into the soil and get into the food source, it will cause the birth defect, brain damage, kidney damage, nervous system, and that's why we've been taking that out of the paint, but still in the electronics. So we need to make sure it's properly handled. This is actually a picture about what are the toxic materials in the computers. You can see there's, as I said, 4 to 8 pounds of lead on the glass. The reason why the lead is on the glass is to filter the X-ray from our human body, to protect us. Phosphor, it's there also to protect us from the chemical is barium. You have the brominate flame retardants, which it's coated onto the plastic, so when there's a fire on the electronic, it doesn't just explode, things like that.
You have the mercury and all the other things, zinc, silver, copper.
So the thing we want to emphasize to the visitors, to green citizens, we have to treat this with respect. It is a lot of material. Some of them are very toxic, others are very precious, and we have, if we're going to grow, on Earth, we're going to have to try to get it from cradle to grave, to cradle to cradle. So everything has to be recycled and make another product. We need to get to the point that every computer, every monitor can be recycled properly, and the material can be claimed safely, and then can be used to make another computer monitor with it. Green Citizen has a website, is www.greencitizen.com.
فاصل قصير مشاهدي ايتك عبر قناة الحرة، ونتابع معا جرين ايتك وقصة النفايات الإلكترونية، كيف يمكن أن نجعلها مفيدة وغير ضارة للإنسان وللأرض. تتابعون ايتك عبر الحرة والحرة.com ويوتيوب.com/الحرة، وآخر أخبار التقنيات والبرنامج من خلال فيسبوك وتويتر على ايتك شو. تتابعون ايتك عبر الحرة والحرة.com ويوتيوب.com/الحرة، وآخر أخبار التقنيات والبرنامج من خلال فيسبوك وتويتر على ايتك شو. نعود إليكم مشاهدي ايتك عبر قناة الحرة بعد هذا الفاصل لمتابعة جرين ايتك معكم من سان فرانسيسكو بكاليفورنيا، وقصة النفايات الإلكترونية كيف يمكن جعلها غير ضارة للإنسان والأرض، عملية التدوير من الألف إلى الياء.
ECS refining started in February of 1980, about 29 years ago, recycling electronic scrap from the electronics manufacturers in the valley, Intel's, AMD, Hewlett-Packard, Apple Computer. Throughout the years, as the manufacturing has left the valley, while we're still doing manufacturing scrap, we're doing more what we call end-of-life scrap. Computers and IT equipment that people have used, it's reached its end of its useful life, and now gets recycled for its commodity values. What we call collectors, like Green Citizen, collect the materials from the residents and the businesses and governments and schools, and we probably have about 2,000 collectors of various sizes. Green Citizen's a very good sized collector. We do a lot of work with landfills. In California in particular, all of the consumer electronics are banned from landfills. So if it's not getting collected before it gets to the landfill operators collect it. Nonprofit organizations like Goodwills and Salvation Armies collect materials, and then there's other weekend collection event people that typically are working through schools or churches or other nonprofits to collect materials on the weekends to make it convenient for the consumer. The nature of our facility is we take things down to a raw commodity. We produce aluminum and copper and steel and plastic, which goes back into the manufacturing sectors. There's a lot of people who call themselves recyclers, but what they're really doing is collecting the materials and then shipping them overseas to third world countries where there's a lot of manual labor used to disassemble it, and the materials aren't fully utilized, and they end up in rivers and streams and valleys. And the manual labor that's done oftentimes is in people's homes, and so the metals, the lead and arsenic and cadmium materials that are in this now potentially contaminate those people's homes. The materials basically are fed into what we call our primary shredder. It's a 500 horsepower shredder that shreds pieces to approximately -5 inches in particle size. Some of the things we do prior to this point are in printers. We try to remove the inkjet cartridges and toner cartridges because that'll discolor the plastics and make them unsaleable or less saleable. We're also looking for things that might damage the shredding system. And then we're also trying to put things through somewhat similar materials as much as possible. So here we have what we call consumer electronics, primarily printers with the occasional telephone and boombox.
Yeah.
Or we want to be able to dump materials on the ground, see them before they go in, and then, you know, the shredder, we drop
It's on
them
the
down,
top.
and using gravity, they fall through the shredder, and then go out through another sorting conveyor. After the primary shredder, we have a sorting station where, depending upon the type of material, we can remove pieces that don't need to go through the rest of the system.
Like the batteries? You remove the batteries from here?
Correct. Batteries would be one of the things. Large pieces of steel, maybe transformers, large pieces of plastic. This is our primary shredder, which is a 500 horsepower hydraulically driven shredder that, you know, is a low speed, high torque shredder. You could shred tires with it, garbage, but if for some reason it jams, it auto reverses and goes back at it. It does a great job of tearing the material apart initially and downsizing it so they can be moved on to our secondary shredder. Any materials we choose to pull out at this point, we can pull out, and depending upon the type of material will depend on what we're pulling out. But batteries always get pulled out at this point. Large pieces of steel might be pulled out. Transformers might be pulled out. After the primary shredder and the sorting station, the material goes up and goes up even higher to a secondary shredder, which is about 300 horsepower, has 4 large cutting shafts and a screen, so the material has to be smaller than 2 inches in particle size to fall through the screen. Then it goes through successive magnetic separations to remove the magnetic materials, which is primarily iron. Goes through a screening device to remove the fines or smaller particles, and then the rest of the material goes up through an eddy current system, which removes aluminum and sorts circuit board from plastics as well as stainless steel. This is clean steel coming off, and number 7 is coppery steel. This would get sold as clean steel. This would get reprocessed. We'd liberate the copper from the steel and then sell the copper and then sell the steel. This is what's coming out of this box. And again, there's some iron there, so the magnetic separation is pulling it out, but it's also got copper attached. So this will be a material that will run back through the system, shred it up a second time, and get a liberation of the iron from the copper. And then the copper will go to a copper smelter for recovery, and the steel to a steel smelter. So this is the end of the separation process, an eddy current separator, and it has rare earth magnets in it. It energizes the material, which allows the aluminum pieces to be thrown further than the other pieces. So we get good separations between aluminum, circuit board, plastics, and stainless steel materials. This is the plastics that come out of box number 3, and there's a little bit of circuit board in this material. We have another separation system here, an air separation system that'll help separate the circuit boards from the plastic. Then the plastics go off to a recycler, and the circuit boards go off to a copper smelter for copper and gold recovery. Everything we sell on a per pound or per ton basis. On the inbound side, we're charging or paying people on a per pound or per ton basis. Recycling is important. It's important for the world, the environment, our children, and I just encourage everybody to do the right thing and recycle as much as they can. We have a website, and it's our company name, ecsrefining.com.
إلى هنا مشاهدي آيتك عبر قناة الحرة نأتي إلى نهاية جرين آيتك لهذا الأسبوع. كنا معكم من سان فرانسيسكو بولاية كاليفورنيا. حاولنا نتعرف كيف يمكن جعل النفايات الإلكترونية غير سامة للإنسان والأرض وعملية تدويرها من الألف إلى الياء. نرجو أن نكون قد وفقنا بذلك. الأسبوع المقبل نلتقي من مكان آخر في العالم. إلى ذلك الحين نتواصل دائما عبر بريدنا الإلكتروني itech@alhurra.com، ويمكن مشاهدة هذه الحلقة وحلقات أخرى من itech في أي وقت على موقع القناة www.alhurra.com، وأيضا على youtube.com/الحرة. وتواصلوا مع البرنامج من خلال facebook.com/itechshow، وأيضا آخر أخبار البرنامج من خلال itechshow على تويتر. شكرا لكم جميعا وإلى اللقاء.